Absolute lovelies, and welcome to a Sunday live stream. We have only a little bit of news to talk about this week, but the news we have to talk about is exciting. We're going to talk some Dynamic Duo, one of my most anticipated properties, be it comic or movie or adaptation or anything. It's one of my most anticipated properties in the world of arts, and we got a little bit more details on it this week. Also, going to be talking about some numbers. I know box office and the financial side of show business is not everyone's favorite thing, but it does inform what studios make next. So it is important to talk about. That also brings us over to the world of the problems when things don't work out financially with big properties, talking about Funko. So we're going to be talking about Predator's Badlands making a lot of records in the Predator franchise legacy and lore with the newest installment in that 9 movie running series. We're going to be talking about Superman doing even better than we had heard according to Forbes, as well as talking about Funko and all that stuff going on. So not a big news week, but the stuff we've got to talk about is pretty exciting. Also going to be talking about the giveaway. I told you guys at 50,000 subscribers. We are now at 52, 53. We're killing it. I'm so excited. I really appreciate you guys. At 50K, I want to do a 50 comic giveaway. It's been sitting in a box right here next to me for quite some time. You guys were amazing on the video. You commented. There were like 300 comments, and I read each and every one of them. It took me quite a while to pick a winner, but I have picked a winner. I'm going to read not the full entries, but I'm going to read like the names of like my favorite 100, the ones that I narrowed it down to, and then I'll let you guys know, and I'm going to read the full winner today on air, and then my social media person's going to reach out to that winner and figure out the best way to get these 50 comics to them, 51 including the DC high volume that I'm going to sign. So that's going to be coming at that lucky winner. And at 100K, we're going to do a 100 comic giveaway. And that's going to be here. And if you're new to this page, I cover comics, I cover movies, I cover TV, basically anything in the genre content lens I try to cover. I can't cover everything, but I try, as well as the biggest movies outside of the genre space. So if you like movies, TV, and especially if you like comics, please hit that subscription bell every week. I try to break down my favorite 9 comics from that week, trying to get people into a new favorite book or at least into the comic store itself. So that is what this live stream is about every week, almost every week. I try to make it every week. And today we're talking about those new subjects as well as doing the giveaway. But when we hit 100K on this page or 100K on Instagram or TikTok, going to be giving away 100 comics accordingly and doing a similar situation. So going to be talking about all of that goodness here on the show, as well as answering every single super chat. I do not leave a stream without every super chat being answered. We got one in from Olenti. I'm going to be answering that after we talk about Dynamic Duo. So get those questions in. I'll be jumping into the live stream periodically. Hope you lovelies are doing well. Let's talk Dynamic Duo. Now, Dynamic Duo is from a new company, well, new to the mainstream populace. I hadn't heard of them yet, but they've been developing stuff for quite some time, but now they're becoming a household name as they should be. They are called Swaybox. Swaybox is a blend of different mediums. They are developing this absolutely revolutionary looking Robin property. Now, this is one of my most anticipated things in the arts. Not since Spider-Verse have I seen images that look so new and different. It is a blend of CGI, of puppetry, of hand-drawn animation. It is some elements of live action because of the puppetry. There's so much at play here, and I am so fascinated. When we got a little bit, like 10 seconds of footage at CinemaCon, I said it was my favorite thing out of CinemaCon. CinemaCon is a multiple day event, and those 10 seconds absolutely blew me away. Now, at CinemaCon, I got to see all of How to Train Your Dragon live action, which is in my top 25 of 2025. And still, this 10 seconds from Swaybox was so mind-blowing, it was the thing I walked away with. Now, for the first time since CinemaCon, we're getting some of our first footage because Swaybox is going to be doing a audition process. They're going to be giving roles to people with and without experience in this crazy world on November 15th. But while promoting that, they showed some footage. Now, I don't know how credible it is because it's coming from the internet, but apparently there was a 2017 Catwoman property they were developing, and some of that, set work and designs is being used in this. Obviously, Gotham is still Gotham Dynamic Duo property. Now, Dynamic Duo is going to be a Jason Todd as well as Dick Grayson story. We're going to get to see very early era Robin goodness but in an all new way. Now, the puppetry looks insane. The idea of Robin's finally getting their time in the sun is going to make a lot of people very excited because, Robin is a beloved Batman fixture that hasn't gotten his time in movies since Chris O'Donnell played him 20 years ago. It's been quite a while since we've had Robin in that way. Now, we are obviously getting a Robin as far as we know in the DCU, and this being the first foray into Robin in the DCU is very exciting to me. Now, this is years out. Obviously, they're having auditions and stuff now. This movie is actively in development. I mentioned, I think 2 weeks ago, that Jock, an artist I adore, was doing work with Swaybox. This is one of the sets I want to visit most. I'm going to be reaching out and doing my damnedest to get myself onto the set at, I think they're in New Orleans. I want to see as much of this as I can. I want to experience this puppetry. The imagery is insane. The thumbnail of this video, that left half is a car from Swaybox. Look up their sizzle. Look up any of the footage you can. I just want to raise awareness for this incredible company and for this property. I am so excited for Dynamic Duo. I think this could be the big Spider-Verse pop for DC. And DC, I think, is doing something really special in making things so different. I keep saying spinner rack because that's what DC feels like right now. Next year alone, we're getting a giant cosmic space opera and a adapted from individual comic adaptation. It was called Woman of Tomorrow. Now it's just called Supergirl, but it's based off a run of comic books. Usually when comic properties get made, it's off the broad idea of something like Civil War, like Infinity War. Those aren't like the comics, but it's based off the idea. This seems to be much more faithful while obviously taking some swings and doing some different things. That is exciting because we also get Clayface next year, which is a lower budget body horror, very intense way to bring Gotham into the DCU. And then a couple years later, we're getting this. Now, in between that, we obviously have other properties, but I just think the versatility of the DC universe, especially with something as intense and bold as puppetry and mixed medium and all of this, is a testament what you can do with comic books. I think comic books are a very slept on medium, hence this page, hence this show every week. But doing something like this is a beautiful way to bring in these characters. I'm really excited to see Robins get their time to shine. I'm personally a Batman solo for a while and then bring in the Robin element guy. So this seems like kind of getting my cake and eating it too, because I don't know if the Batman 2 is going to have Robin. I don't know if the first introduction, he might show up in Clayface solo, might show up with a Robin. He might not show up in Clayface at all. We don't know what's happening with Batman, but we do know we're getting Robins in the Dynamic Duo. So that is very exciting. We will see. Please check out that sizzle reel footage. I am in that same vein working on developing this show into being much more articulate with tech. I think what I'm going to try to do when I launch the new version of this show is currently called This Week in Comics. When I launch it as Coffee and Comics or whatever version of those words I bring into the fray, I think I'm going to temporarily have a producer to try to run graphics and imagery, and then I'm going to try to learn it myself. So I'm going to try to be figuring that out. And I bring that up now because I would normally show you guys the sizzle reel and footage once I got to that point. This is a one-man operation. This is me with 2 lights, this new microphone, and my laptop. I'm going to try to grow it. It's expensive, obviously, to hire a producer and to hire the switchboard, to have a switchboard and all that stuff. But the goal would be in the future when I say, look at the sizzle reel, I cut to the sizzle reel live so we can still do a tech bit of goodness. So that is what I'm going to be hoping to do late this year, early next year. It is where I want to take this live show, and I'm very excited about it. So I want to dive in to our first super chat in between stories. It was in our last live stream. That live stream crashed. Speaking of tech, that live stream wouldn't let me go live on it, so I had to do a new one. But before we left, Olenti sent in a super chat on that stream, which I will not let go a moment longer without answering. Olenti on the other live stream to ask, thank you very much, by the way, which will craft the best story? Rank your personal interest versus which will deliver. Wonder Man, Born Again Season 2, Vision Quest, Lanterns, and Spider-Man Noir. Okay, so this is really interesting because you're asking about more of the deep cut, not big four, right? Like next year, theatrically, we're getting Spider-Man Brand New Day. We're getting obviously Supergirl Woman Tomorrow, which I was just talking about, Clayface and Doomsday. Those are the ones that a lot of people are talking about for 2026. You're pulling here at all the rest of the stuff, which I think is very exciting because not nearly enough people are talking about Spider-Man Noir. So rank your personal interest versus which will deliver. So I'm going to do personal interest first of these. I'm going to say personal interest is, man, Born Again Season 2, Vision Quest. No, Born Again Season 2, Lanterns, Vision Quest, Spider-Man Noir, and Wonder Man. And that's crazy because I'm really excited for Wonder Man. That's actually hard to put there. Let me explain why. So, Born Again Season 2 is friends of mine, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who brought us not just the half of the new stuff in Born Again Season 1, but they brought us Loki Season 2. And they are just brilliant filmmakers. Loki is my favorite property out of the MCU. Loki Season 2 is my favorite thing born of the MCU. So that puts Born Again Season 2 at number 1. Lanterns, I think, is the best below the line team I've ever seen assembled. It is Chris Mundy from Ozark. It is Tom King, noted comic writer and one of my favorite comic writers. It is Damon Lindelof, who brought us Watchmen and Lost, who's an actual nerd. So that assembly of talent, that makes it number 2. The Born Again is selfish because they're friends, and I love Loki. So those are 1 and 2. Next up, I would go Vision Quest because of how much I got out of WandaVision, because I love the metaphors of like the ship of Theseus ideas and all those heady concepts that Vision can bring. So Vision Quest is right there after it. Spider-Man Noir is a very bold swing, bringing in Nick Cage himself as the live-action Spider-Man. I love that we're finally getting Robbie Robertson. I love the idea of this and its potentiality. Honestly, it and Wonder Man are kind of tied right there. But I'm gonna go with Wonder Man. It's only last because of the greatness above it. But Wonder Man looks like it's gonna be Shane Black toned. It's gonna be meta. It's got Yahya Abdul-Mateen II in it, who I adore. To be honest, and this I hate to say this because it feels like I'm just hating, but half of these are Marvel, so I'm not hating. More than half, most of them are Marvel. I would put all of these above my personal hopes for Doomsday just because of how concerned about Doomsday I am. So all of these are still in the upper part of the year next year. But man, that is a hard rank. So, and then as far as which will deliver, I think Lanterns is going to surprise people a lot. I think Born Again Season 2 next up. I think Vision Quest. I think Spider-Man Noir. I think Wonder Man. So they're similar, but I do think, I think Vision Quest is going to be really heady and not for everyone. I think Lanterns is going to be like, oh my God, what a different take to launch TV in a direction for the DCU, because we've had Peacemaker, but we haven't, had another take. So we've had Creature Commandos, which is obviously very adult animation. Peacemaker, very adult. Lanterns, I think, is just going to be a really thrilling drama as an HBO show. So I think that's going to surprise people. But yeah, so much goodness next year. And I love this question, Olenti. Hopefully I answered it for you. And I'd love to know in the chat, live chat and comments later, answering Olenti's question. What is your ranking of excitement for Wonder Man, Born Again Season 2, Vision Quest, Lantern, Spider-Man Noir? Rank those 5 for your excitement. Just curiosity what you guys think is coming next year. All right, let's do a couple more super chats, and then we're going to dive into the next bit of news, which is Predator Badlands related. Predator has been a Dark Horse comic, has been a Marvel comic, is currently a Marvel comic ×2 because it's a Marvel comic adaptation, but also Disney owns Fox. So we're going to be diving into some Predator Badlands goodness. But first, I want to get Judah Hicks 5408. Judah Hicks, thank you very much for the super chat. Judah asks, hey, Coy, my local comic book store is having a blind pick tomorrow for DCKO. I picked Barda and Hawkman. Who do you think will win the tournament? P.S. Thanks for being a positive light in the space. Okay, so they're doing a blind pick tournament for DCKO. I love Barda and I love Hawkman. I'm a big Barda fan. I appreciate the love on the positivity. I actually really loved the messages you guys sent for the giveaway. It was so kind. It was so warm. It was so lovely to read how much my positivity is infected, probably impacted and affected folks. It really means a lot because it is hard. I get so angry and exhausted every day because I have to engage on the internet in order to work on the internet. And I engage too much, but some of it is necessary to grow this here page. Some of it is just I don't have the willpower to not read the bullshit, but it is very hard to stay positive. So it takes a lot, and you guys help bolster that. So I really appreciate it. Who do I pick for DCKO? I think it's going to be something where Darkseid is a factor, and I don't want this to be a cop out answer, but I think there is a way that we're into the final four and Darkseid wins, even though it's to become Darkseid or to become, this King Omega that can fight Darkseid. But I feel like there's going to be something where there's not one winner. But if I was to pick a winner, um, Mr. Miracle, I think he somehow escapes a situation, allowing him to win in some way. I'm gonna go Mr. Miracle. But I love all of this. Thank you, Judah Hicks, very much. I appreciate it. All right, next up we've got Spidey Sensei 72. Appreciate it, Spidey Sensei. Diving in, Spidey asks, PS5 fund. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm very excited. We're putting stuff. Everything that says PS5, I'm putting towards PS5. Everything that says House Fund, I'm putting towards House Fund. And for the next 3 months, November, December, January, or however long it takes, I'm putting it towards a switchboard so I can do graphics. So this is going to the PS5, but let the record show, I've got a ton of like geeky tees, and I wear less geeky tees. I might do like a Poshmark store or like a little Etsy or something and sell some of my geeky tees and put all of that money towards upgrading like a switchboard or something to run this page a little tighter, or to paying my producer, because I'm gonna have to pay somebody to help me run the ones and twos. So thinking about doing some selling of stuff, a little internet garage sale for some of my nerdy tees or some other things. But yeah, that PS5 money will go towards PS5. Spidey Sensei says, new hair is looking good, sir. Thank you very much. Update on the hair. I am currently in the shedding era, so all the implanted hairs fall out. So this is actually a great a testament to why I wanted to get the transplant. Now, this is what my hair is starting to look like, and I don't love that curve. This is hair I want to have. So that fell out, and that'll fill back in, and that'll be my hairline. Like you can see, it's kind of darker here. That's going to be my hairline, because this is me, having a receding hairline, which I don't love. And so that's going to come back in. But yeah, this side too. You see, I don't want that hair, but I want this hair. So that's coming in. But in the meantime, I have an incredible surgeon, Dr. Ken Anderson at Anderson Center for Hair, who is one of the only doctors I've seen that actually takes the time to like move each individual hair. Because I have transplants in here too. Like this is 2,381. But he'll move a hair implant, move a hair. So I got to keep my top hair. Some of it will fall out from shock loss. I'll have thinner hair for months 1 and 2, and then it'll start growing at like 3 and 4. But the hair on the top of my head, most people just shave their head and then they're just bald. So I'm very appreciative because I'm, in the public eye. This is my job. I'm on camera. So very appreciative. And thank you for the kind words. When I hair rant, new Predator was awesome. New Frankenstein was just okay to me, but always glad for new content. You know what? We are in, we agree on Predator. I personally love the new Predator quite a bit. The new Predator is, I think, my number 5 of the year so far. Like I loved it a lot, but New Frankenstein is my number 3 of the year. My last month has changed. My whole hierarchy of the year has changed. Yeah, right now I've got Frankenstein at 3 and Predator at 4. Those actually are neck and neck for me, but I got Predator. Big upset. Did not expect it to clear my top 5. Frankenstein I knew I'd like. I didn't think it'd be my favorite. Didn't think it'd be my favorite Guillermo del Toro film, and it is currently. I've seen it twice already. I'm obsessed. I love the atmosphere. I love the world it put me in. I personally got a lot out of it, but I'm really glad we at least are on the same page with Predator Badlands, and I appreciate the kindness. We're going to talk about Predator Badlands next, after I get these next 2 super chats in. Very excited about it. All right, Olenti. Thank you for the other super chat and this one. Appreciate it. I'm sorry I had to restart but I didn't leave you behind. I made sure it got in there. Olenti, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. Thank you to all the veterans for their service. Thank you to everyone that keeps us safe. Thank you to everyone that entertains the troops and all the arts that keep the troops going. So much love to veterans, and I appreciate it very much. And thank you for the super chat. And last up, before we get into some news, Christian Unpronounceable, thank you for the super chat. And Christian asks, have you, Coy, or anyone else watched Pluribus yet? I am loving it. I have not yet. I really want to. I am a big old Vince Gilligan fan. Vince Gilligan made my favorite show of all time, Breaking Bad. I have not Okay, so this is how busy I am. I haven't even seen Better Call Saul, which is a spinoff of Breaking Bad. I tend to only have the ability to watch stuff that I can make content out of because that's, I'm a lucky dude. It's Veterans Day. There are people that are working so hard and risking their lives and doing things that I can't even fathom. And I get to talk about art for a living. So this is not coming from a place of complaining or whining, but I don't get to watch a lot of stuff or get to read or get to invest time and into art that I can't make into stuff. And Pluribus, unfortunately, I don't see numbers on people reacting to it or reviewing it as big enough for me to make time. So I just started season 2 of Dairy Girls, and that show's like 5 years old. I just don't have a lot of time to watch stuff for fun, unfortunately. But I'd really like to. I'm hoping one day I get to. Hoping one day I get to watch Better Call Saul. But I hear it's spectacular, so hopefully I get to at some point. So, all right, let's dive into the next news story, and then I'm going to dive into Ragged Wreck over here. But thank you all so much for the first super chats. I will not leave this until every super chat is answered. So thank you very much. Also, I see you guys hitting those likes. I appreciate it. We lost a few, not subscribers, a few followers when I went into the super chats, but I saw people leave likes as the number went down. So people coming in, I promise there's more news coming. I just wanted to make sure I got to the super chats and everyone leaving a like. Thank you very much. Next bit of news. Predator Badlands has broken hella Predator records as well as box office expectations. Predator Badlands was expected to open at around $25 million domestically this weekend. Kind of a weak opening for as big of an IP as it is, but historically, Predators don't do gangbusters, but it is a consistent franchise. But either way, 25 million wasn't looking amazing. Word of mouth and an incredible 95% Rotten Tomatoes, as well as I think it's 91% critics, like two giant numbers. Rotten Tomatoes helped overcome those weak pre-sales. This movie hit 15.6 million on its first full opening day. Preview day, everyone loved it, saw it Thursday. On Friday, 15.6 million. That is basically what people thought. It was going to clear 25. It made 15.6 in one day. It earned 40 million domestic weekend. That is almost double expectations from word of mouth. And it made 80 million worldwide opening weekend on a $105 million budget. This movie, I don't know box office math. A lot of people pretend to. A lot of people actually do. I'm not one of them, but I think a lot of people that talk out of their ass and say like, well, it's got to make exactly 2 times as much. We got to. Every movie's budget is different. Every movie's marketing is different. Every movie's brand deals are different. Every movie's tie-ins with merch is different. Every movie's expectations for box office are different. Anyone that just has this simple equation is lying to you. But if you follow someone like Dan Murrell, who actually knows box office, there are people that do box office analysis like sports betting. Those people probably know. That said, $105 million budget for the film, plus whatever it cost in marketing. The fact that this movie has made 80% of its production budget in one weekend worldwide, I think is exceptional. I'm so excited. I think it is so good. It is my number 4 movie of the year. I made 2 videos on it on this page. One of them, the spoiler review, I can honestly tell you, is my favorite review I've made on this page. The spoiler review for Predator Badlands, I took my time on. I actually took notes and I like had a structure. There's chapters that mean a lot to me, like each individual thought I went into on that video. That is my favorite video I've done yet on the few years I've been running a solo page. That's my favorite review. So after you've seen Predator Badlands, it would mean the world to me if you watch that review. It's like 2 videos ago. I did a Frankenstein non-spoiler, and the one before that was the spoiler review. This movie, I love. It is doing a lot of the things I want movies to do. It is saying a lot of the things I think need to be said. So I am so heartened to see the box office doing so well. I'm so heartened to see the Rotten Tomatoes score, to see people like that didn't like the trailer giving it a chance. I'm so glad word of mouth on this film is so strong. I think we need more like this. Like, it is so important when a movie is good, which is subjective, but when a movie is perceived well by many, to give it a chance. Like, if you identify with certain critics or certain reviewers and you're like, I wasn't for me, but they liked it, maybe I'll give it a chance. I think that is so much better than, well, I heard in sneak previews or these content creators didn't like it a week ago, or like it's gotten Rotten Tomatoes. Like, if you hear something's good, try it. I personally, I understand how expensive movie tickets are. I've never not seen a movie because someone said they didn't like it. I have, however, gone to see a movie because someone said they like it. I hope that makes sense. but this feels like a big rush of people going to see a movie because they heard how good it was. I personally loved it. I'm a huge fan. I hope people go see it. And also, please, that review, the spoiler one I did, I'm really proud of, and I really want to do more like it in that format. So please check out that spoiler review. I might link it if I can find this moment in the replay. Add a little chapter there or there. But yeah, I appreciate it very much, and I'm so glad it's doing well. Dan Trachtenberg is an incredible director. He did Prey, he did Killer of Killers, he did the pilot of The Boys. I've gotten to meet him very briefly a couple times, and absolute great interactions. Big fan of his worldview, big fan of how he sees this character set. Very excited. He's said on record, if you keep just remaking the things that are popular, you're just going to piss off everyone, because it's going to be the people that wanted it again are going to be like, well, that's not quite it. Or the people that wanted something new, which is what you want out of art, are like, why are we just rehashing? So I love his worldview on remakes, and especially on Predator. Digging it. So thank you to Dan Trachtenberg and everyone involved in that incredible property. It is so fun. It is so smart. It is so theatrical. It's such a fun movie going experience. Watch my reviews. That'll do it. Predator Badlands killing at the box office. A very slow November. Historically, the worst October, other than during the pandemic, I think since the 90s, like rough times at the box office. So it's good to have some good box office to report. Speaking of good financials and box office to report, according to Forbes, who is a money-driven concept, Forbes does a lot of money stuff. So as I said, go to box office experts, not like Wikipedia hosts. Go to people that study this stuff if you want numbers. Forbes studies money. And Forbes has come out with a report saying that Superman has generated more than 100 million in profits, on its way to 150 million in profits. This is because it is killing it on streaming. I thought it went to streaming too fast, but it still was the number one superhero movie in the box office. It is in the top 10 in the box office, and it's killing it on streaming. So if it's a net positive, I'm happy for it. I still want movies to have a longer theatrical window, but I'm very happy for Superman for this approaching $150 million in profit, which this profit would make it the most profitable Superman to date, as well as home entertainment sales in general, VOD, streaming, buying it on Blu-ray. I have it on Blu-ray. I've got a steelbook over there. It is killing it. And like I said before with box office math, it is a product of a number of ingredients that only the people that made it and whoever studies box office might be privy to. So like, I don't remember what brands were on screen, but all of those brands that obviously, like Milkbone, there was a Milkbone moment in the film. Milkbone had a certain amount of money they put towards the bottom line. So say Milkbone put in $10 million to have the back of the comic book ads, the on-camera moment, the tie-ins with crypto. Say, I'm just saying a number. Say the movie cost $200 million. They threw in $10 million. Now the movie needing to make $190 million cuts from the amount of money it needs to profit, obviously, because math. But we don't know all of the things that go into those things. So when people say production budget, then double that because of marketing, there's so many more numbers that go into it. This is very heartening to know that it made 600 and some, I think it was about 600 million theatrically, however much it cost, however much went into this, it is already an 100 million to 150 million profit, which is dope. That's a great sign for the DCU. That's a great sign for continuing on. Obviously, Man of Tomorrow is coming out in like a year and a half, 2 years. It is a great sign for all of this. But everyone talking about the superhero bubble bursting, the entire theatrical industry is hurting. Movies are hurting. AI slop is killing so many jobs, not the least of which movies, as well as people not leaving the house, as well as streaming, as well as all these problems. So it is so good to hear this hybrid method of release and all the other things that have done to help this film. I want to know how much Fantastic Four was able to make, how much Thunderbolts was able to make. Like, these are properties I want to see more of. I want to get to see, this actually helping by releasing it on 4K Blu-ray Steelbook. This actually helping move the needle because I'm a physical media guy. I'd love to see all that. So maybe more transparency in numbers, especially if it's good numbers, so we can like bolster some confidence. It's great to hear that about Predator. Great to hear that about Superman. And I'm glad this stuff is still doing well and studios will keep making it because it is still a business at the end of the day. Show business has to make money or we lose it all. So makes me happy. All right. Before we dive into our last little bit of news, which is unfortunately the other side of money, we're going to talk about Funko and some of the struggles over there. I do want to make sure we get to these next super chats. And then we're going to talk about the 50 comic giveaway. Picked the winner. Going to read that winner's testimonial in full, as well as the names of some of my other favorite ones. So many of them meant the world to me. But first, let's talk Super Chats. First up, we've got Ragged Recording with $1.85 saying dealer's choice where the $1.85 fund goes was. Sorry, just got paid some bills. You never apologize, Ragged Recording. Never. Coy Jandro, I cut 2 jobs. I have 7 jobs. With 7 jobs, I am very aware that everything leaving the house costs $100. I'm very aware that everything is so expensive. The fact that I need 7 jobs is because of the way the world is right now. Every dollar means so much to me. You guys throw in $1, you guys throw in $5, you guys throw in $10. Like, the gratitude I feel. So thank you, and never apologize. And anyone that's like in the live chat, you guys are helping the page grow. Anyone that press like, you're helping this algorithm. Anyone that subscribes helps YouTube throw this to more people, and those people join the stream, and then the little tiny bit of ad revenue becomes a little tiny bit more. All of it helps. Every little thing helps, so I appreciate it very, very deeply. Thank you, Christian Unpronounceable and Ragged Recordings, the last 2 we got. Next up, Rob Buck. Rob Buck, thank you very, very much. Rob Buck, big fan, Coy. Why do you think Hollywood is hesitant on Robin in Batman films? You know, I think I personally, and this is me, I don't like when the Bat family is huge. I like Batman. I like good Robin stories. I think there is more messy Bat family than good Bat family. But I think it's easier to make a medium good Batman than a great Batman and Robin. I think focus on one character and like his psychology. I think Robin's a tricky character because it's so of its time in a lot of ways. I think it is tricky to have a sidekick not feel cheesy. I mean, look at how quickly they had to make Bucky the Winter Soldier in live action. Like, adaptation is different than the actual original medium. So I think you can absolutely do it. I think it is coming. I think it's going to be great. I like Robin. I love Nightwing, but I think it's hard to get the tone right. I think, there's going to be a ton of keyboard cowboys, especially if they don't like me and here like, oh, it's easy. Just do this. Yeah. Then write Robin. But I think, when you nail it, it's going to be special. I think it's just been a hard nut to crack. I think doing the Bat family with dynamic duo and then whatever they do with Batman and Robin is going to be a great way to introduce a multitude. I think the fatherly element of Dick Grayson being different than Damian Wayne is exciting. I hope we get Tim Drake someday. Like, there's so much to Robin. I just think it's hard because everyone's got their favorite Robin. Everyone's got their favorite tone take. It's a tricky character visually, aesthetically, psychologically. So I just think it's a little tricky overall. I hope that answers your question. It's just there's so many elements to why I think it's hard. Thank you, Rob Buck. I appreciate it. Fiona George, good to see you. Thank you very much, Fiona George. Did you hear about Swordsman coming back in the next Daredevil season, Coy? Quite a fun character. I did, because apparently he got injured. Which I thought was interesting to like, not like a spoiler. But yeah, I heard that. I think it's a fun character. I don't think of him as like, oh, we've got to have Swordsman. But when I heard it, I was tickled. Like, I think that's the right level of excitement of like, hee, that'll be fun. So yeah, we will see how that comes to play. I'm curious what stunt led to that. And I'm very excited for Daredevil's Born Again Season 2. And once again, appreciate the super chat very much. Yes, Spidey Sensei, I'm doing my best. That's why the 7 jobs. All right, diving into our last news story, and then any more super chats, and then we're gonna do the giveaway. So Funko has officially released a statement. This is from Funko. I love Funko. I don't have any at my desk. They're all variously around my office. A logo I use all the time is me Funkoed. I have 2 Funkos Funko gave me of me as Funkos, like Koi Funkos. I have those. I love this concept. So this is not me talking shit, to make it clear. All love. But Funko, I can't change what they put out. Funko has said they have, quote, substantial doubt about our ability to continue as a company in the next 12 months without funding or an acquisition. This is a much bigger conversation and not one that I'm informed enough to have. So I will say, I think and fear we're going to see a lot more of this in the coming months. I think we don't see all of the small businesses that are lost unless you live in a major city and you've got like a favorite restaurant. I don't think we see like, when 300 Wendy's shut down, which is happening next year. I think we don't see when, a number of things go out. Like when you go to a mall and you're like, wait, this is a lot less stores. Like those things, they're just like, it starts to just, but a whole company like Funko that is so a cornerstone of pop culture, I think we're going to start to notice soon. And I think it's going to be happening. The overhead on these things and the imports and the tariffs. And again, I'm not going to speak to all that because it's going to rile up a certain audience I don't have the bandwidth to deal with. They know they're wrong and dumb, but that's on them. That said, I do think it is unfortunate that we have so little we as consumers can really do because of how much we're all hurting. Like I don't have the money to go buy Funkos, and I don't think that's where I'd spend my money right now. And so I get why this is happening. Like that is a superfluous extra thing, but I just want to put my heart out to a company that, brought joy and art and made stuff out of characters we all cared about. Like there are so many Funkos where I'm like, no way, that's so niche and so unique and so one. I have a doppelganger Funko. Doppelganger is a character I love from Maximum Carnage. That is, a six-armed Spider-Man that's like a demon entity. He like came around in the Clone Saga. He teamed up with Demo Goblin. He worked with Shriek and Carrion in the Maximum Carnage saga. He's the super intense character. I didn't know that Jim Starlin invented him. Jim and I are friends. I was hanging out with Jim Starlin, and I basically brought up that Doppelganger was a Funko, and Jim then told me he invented the character. That's how I found out. And like we geeked out over another of his characters getting a Funko. I tell the story because it brings people together. It's so niche that it's like for nerds, and it's really cool that at least for the last, time we had that. So hopefully something good can happen for Funko. I do feel like it's an overall celebration. I don't love buying stuff for buying stuff's sake and rampant capitalism, but I think there's a bit of a sparking joy Marie Kondo element to Funkos where it's like this is a thing I love. This is something I can hold that gives me memories and sparks joy about something I love that is maybe in a story that isn't tangible. Like there's something cool about it. So much love to Funko. Hopefully something can work out. And I just wanted to share that unfortunate bit of news. We had a lot of positive news, and I wanted to share a little, negative, unfortunately, about. And you know what? Calm down, Rich. I hadn't thought of that. 3D printers are getting more popular. That's true, and that is something you can 3D print something akin to a Funko, and they're only going to get better with tech and stuff like that. So anyway, I just wanted to bring up some of that, but also diving in to the negative side of all the money stuff in the world. There's some positive, there's some negative, there's some news. And that brings us to the winner, you lovelies. It has been about a month. You guys have been incredibly patient. I announced on my birthday that when we hit 50K, I made a video about doing this 50 comic giveaway for 50,000 subscribers. This page now has more than that. In the last month and a half, we've kept growing. This is my slowest month since I ever started the page. And that's, I don't know why algorithm doesn't like me right now, but I usually grow about 1,000 a month or more. We are growing slower right now, but I'm trying to put out more. So maybe we'll hook some new fish. If you've got nerdy friends that you think might like this, please do share this page. But I say all that because I announced it when we hit 50K. We have since hit 53K, but I wanted to keep it to the people that were in that first 50K. And that made it tricky because I had to like sort and figure out like timeline. But I also wanted to make sure that it was based on like the heart that poured into these messages meant so much to me, you lovelies. Like it took me days to read them all because I'd read them and I'd sit and think about them. Like I'd have an individual moment with each one. And I really took all of your messages to heart. I've actually start to think about different things to do going forward on this page because of those messages. It was a 3 message I asked for. 1, what you like most about this page, and that was so much heart and beauty, and I really appreciate it. 2, what you'd love to see more of on this page or what you'd love to see on this page. I took hella notes. I am going to start the thing I saw most, like 80% of comments. You guys are the small but mighty part of this page. Comic videos do not so great on YouTube, but you guys are so hardy and you're so passionate that I think it will be worth kind of fighting the algorithm. You guys largely asked for comic arc reviews. I'm going to start doing that. I am going to start with some of my favorites. I think I might start with Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but I'm going to run a poll. We're going to do this. I'm excited. Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a brand new thing on this page. I'm not sure when. I don't want to give you a time estimate because this took a month longer than I thought, but we're going to do comic arc reviews. We're going to dive into like entryway points to characters. We're going to dive into like my favorite runs. We're going to do a lot more comic stuff in 2026. So at least those three types of videos: comic arc reviews, favorite comics of, say, Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, Superman, and then entryway points for those characters, because those are different things. My favorite might not be the best way in. So we're going to do all of that. And we'll do like a maybe either like a book club where it's like I tell you guys on Patreon which book we're doing a month early, or like 2 weeks early, realistically 2 weeks early, and then I make a video of it. I think I'm going to try to edit these, like make them with graphics and images and like, you know, make it a thing, make it a thesis. But that's thanks to you guys with that second part. A lot of you recommended some comic stuff, and I'm going to definitely try to do that. That's the plan. I don't want to give you a time frame, but that is coming. So that was the second thing. Third thing was what comics mean to you, because I'm mailing 50 comics out. They are varied, and they're not going to be like a Silver Age, you know, Holy Grail or anything, but they are alphabetical from tons of different publishers. We're talking Marvel, DC, Boom, Image. We got some Dynamite in there. We got some throwbacks. We got some, I think there's a couple from the 70s, 80s, 90s. There's like 5 decades of these 50 books from all different publishers. So it's a wide variety. So that third part was I wanted to make sure you're a comic fan. I didn't want to send this to someone that was like, yay, big comic fan. So there were 300 some messages and some DMs, like lots of ways you guys reached out. But I definitely wanted to make sure the person I sent this to did all those things. And also I wanted to see how it resonated. That said, it took a month because I narrowed it down to like 100. So I want to read you guys just the names of some of the people that really, really, really like hit right here. If your name isn't mentioned, it's not because yours didn't resonate. It's just I had to narrow it down. So please don't take offense, but I wanted to shout out some folk. And then I'm going to announce the winner, and then we're going to talk the comic books themselves. So just the names of some of the ones that really hit me, which I really, really, really appreciate. All right. Your Dirty Hippie. Great name. Your local Dirty Hippie. Apologies. Your local Dirty Hippie. Gala Ghost, who I always appreciate. SP Bat from Boston. Much love. Smiggy24. Jace the Dawn. Sploosh 5984. Dr. Mondo 2001. Nowak1NE. Parrotfish 813. Flashpoint 079. John Tyson. Mindless Joker. Knowles GNC, sometimes we must let go. Swifter 2020. Amon S07, Supreme Lil Panda. Again, so many of these mean the world. TJM, HJH01. I'm not reading the numbers in all of them, just the ones that like require it. Talisk 1214, Dexter Zark, Top M. Oh, Top Minds. That's clever with a 1 in there. Gab Pot. Splendid Sun, Just Lobo, Nihas, Nijahs, Gavin Perez Chin, Mason Korea, Brock 52. Again, I read every single one. I screenshotted all of these. I like am keeping these for a rainy day. On bad days, when I read the hate, I'm gonna read the love too. Kieran Van Delvede 692, Pre-rolled Marquee, Ed STR85, Janthony WMS20, Matt Krugman, Maverick 367, Andy Pick, Sam, oh, this is a great name, Sam the Man Lee Cooper Dean 1548, Frankie Antonioci, ANTONIACCI, Destined Hellfire, Gotta Go Bam, Yasfet Martin 792, Ping Gussel, and then a little face. I was really impressed with this. PINGUSL, and then they did like the squinty face with emojis. And then our winner, which I'm not going to announce yet, and then Elliot Force 8973, Mind of Mike, Smurfalicious, WB Freak 54, Entertainment, Fatals, Old Die, RO4, Raymungus, Daniel Rosa, Spidey Sensei 72, RK 7000, Maria featuring 2, Catturn 101, Man, I'm sorry this is taking so long, but these all meant so much to me. I want to make sure I shout out the ones that I screenshotted. The Taynor2281, C7 Media, Ryan Baines 6029, Cinemaze, Christopher Landon 723, Sci-Fi Extremist, LX130, RQL1. You see why this took so long? Because I read all of these and they meant the world. TM Nerdy, Canoid, Biblakes28, Xander Rogers 9319. This is only a third of them, by the way. Doug Boylan. Wait, let me make sure I got that right. Doug Boylan. Yep. Nether 2227. Battlegrounds. And these were thorough and so appreciated. Doug Boylan again. Devin Lawrence Wilbur. Andrew Riesenberg 663. Marcos Metrosos 4175. Darth Dad 4771. Tom Vader Viken. Trusbisky, Jesus Gastelum, OG right there. A lot of OGs in here. Eagle 411, 2 nerds, 1 podcast. Austin Vanaken, Ol Fin Dog, Ben Wad, Rahiv Prasid 7955, Scarecrow TK, Branty Berhard 9839, Corey Laguena, Stephen ED 6SC, Ek Nelrelem, Flipper Goalie, The Winter Recruit, Best Lake, Kira Wolf, Judah Hicks 5408, Mayhem Master, Box Office Jack, Nicholas Barrientos 2206. All of those were like, and all the rest too, but those ones are live in my phone forever. If I just said your name, those have been screenshotted. They live in my phone. I have them saved as 50 comic giveaway. When I have a bad day or read some bullshit or someone comes at me, I've got that. I'm just going to swipe and read one and move on with my day because it's going to warm my heart. So thank you. And your winner, the person who is getting these 50 comic books. And again, all of them were amazing. This is not like there was one winner. It was so many winners. I wish I had, 6,000 extra comics to just, and infinite postage to mail it out. Is going to be, oh no, I should have kept it as a separate, but I put it just in the likes. So now I've got to find it. Oh no, I've made a horrible mistake. What have I done? Bear with me, you lovelies. I know which name it is, but now I've got to find it. We've made a horrible mistake, and I'm so sorry because I should have screenshotted just the one that was the winner, so it'd be at the bottom, but instead it's mixed in with everyone else. So now I'm going to lose everyone that's in this stream due to my incompetence. I have failed you. I'm so sorry. But this one, they were talking about their personal experience. They were talking about their experience with this page, as many of you did. A lot of you talked about comics, like, and the impact that like hit you personally. And that meant a lot to me to connect with you guys on a deeper level. This community we're building means so much to me. The winner of this is going to be, you're going to be getting 50 of my comics, 51, including the DC high volume comic that I'm signing, mailed directly to you, is going to be Reese's No Pieces 2336. Reese's No Pieces. Thank you very much. And Reese's No Pieces had this to say: happy birthday and congrats on the 50K subs. So crazy seeing how far you've come, and I can't wait to see you continue to grow and evolve. One, this was in pertaining to favorite part of the page. One, I absolutely love the passion behind everything you cover and the genuineness in every reaction, opinion, description, and discussion you have. That in itself is what I value the most about this channel, because you're not even just passionate in comics, but in movies, in fitness, and just in life in general. It is just so refreshing to see someone be so well communicated in their thoughts and be so kind and positive all the time, even when going through hardship, especially on the internet. Yes. You are just a person that wants to see art win. You're goddamn right. You want to see humanity win. Even when you do have something to say that is negative towards a piece of work, you are still so respectful to the work and to the people who put their time and effort into the thing, and that is really commendable. There are so many channels that talk about movie news or about comics of the week, etc., that I watch, but I always go back to this one because of the character behind it. Thank you. Those very kind words mean the world to me. So many of you wrote in variations of this, and it means so much to you guys to notice how hard it is to be positive, to notice the effort that goes into it, to notice that it is passion that I have for. I loved you mentioned fitness, but for everything, I'm a passionate person that wants to carry that over to you. So it means a lot for you to notice, and that was part one. Thank you, Reese's No Pieces. Part two, which was what they want to see more of on this page. Part two. I would love to see more character specific driven comic recommendation videos. We're doing them. A lot of you asked for this. I love when you make recommendations for certain characters and certain stories for those characters like Animal Man or Mr. Miracle or Kyle Rayner, but sometimes they're hard to look back and find what stories you recommend because the recommendation was in a 2-hour video or live stream that has a ton of topics that you have to pick through to find that specific spot again. That's totally fair, and we're going to do that. I have started adding chapters, but even beyond that, I'm going to make separate videos. We're going to do comic videos, and we're going to do them edited. It's going to take a while, but I'm excited about it. Hopefully they do well. Please, when those get cooking, share them. We're going to make them count. We're going to try to bring more comic stuff to this page and to the internet, which I appreciate. So kind of like the vids and Insta posts you did when Daredevil Born Again came out or when Superman came out, but for whatever character you feel like recommending, whether they have something coming out or not, or could also be videos that are more of a beginner's guide to start reading so-and-so type of video as well. Definitely. Like I would love to dive into certain characters like Wonder Woman and Kyle Rayner. And this is funny. I'm pretty sure I'm spelling that correctly. You were very close. It's Rayner. When you look up comics, I want you to be able to spell it. It is Kyle Rayner. My favorite Green Lantern. And I love that you're invested in him. I'm pretty sure I've been spelling his last name correctly. But due to the sheer amount of stories and writers and etc. those characters have had, it's kind of overwhelming trying to find what stories I should begin with, etc. That's what I want this to be the page of. That is what I want to do. So it's going to be a lot more work, but that's the job. So I want to do that for you guys. And I want it to be accessible. I want you to be able to find them. I want you guys to be able to bring a video to the comic store and be like, hey, press play. These are the new comics that I'm curious about. Hey, this character, press play. Or hey, this guy loves this and we have similar tastes. Like, we're going to make it happen. And I'm very appreciative of you guys wanting that. And 3, what comics mean to you? This is what Reese's No Pieces had to say. Not trying to sound shilly here, but you got me into comics. Back when Superman's marketing and promotional stuff first started, I've been following and keeping up with superhero media ever since I was a kid and watched channels like Comic Storian, rest in peace Benny, which they wrote, and also from me. I got to work with Benny one time. We did a new Rockstars thing together, and he seemed friggin' awesome. And Comics Explained to keep up with the stories I was interested in, but never actually pulled the trigger to go out and get the books on my own. It wasn't until I started watching you that I realized how important going out and getting the books and supporting the comic industry was. It's so important. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love this message. It means so much to me that you were a comic fan and now you're a comic book fan. You were someone that knew the comics, but now you're buying the comics and you're supporting them and you understand the importance of that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Supporting comic industry was. Plus, it made me realize how much I actually like reading the story myself and made me realize how important physical media is and how important forming your own thoughts and opinions and being able to discuss, respectfully, of course, these things are. Plus, I feel like comics are like animation, where people don't take it seriously and they just say it's for kids. And there are so many beautiful, inspiring, important, and even existential messages in comics that I personally love and want more people to give a chance. Exactly. You're preaching to the choir here, Reese's No Pieces. Grant Morrison's Animal Man, Superman for All Seasons, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and Daredevil issue 191 are just a few examples. Okay, so I want to talk about this arc here. You went from loving comic media and listening to comic media, enjoying adaptations, to literally referencing Daredevil 191 since Superman marketing started. So since we've been doing this and you've been watching, that specificity means so much to me. Hell yes. And I'm sending you 50 books, so you have some new stuff to enjoy. Comics, even when they don't have a deep message or are just pure imagination and the pure essence of what humanity is and what art is, expression. Bar, son. Yes. Anyway, if you're still reading this, I just want to say thank you for everything you do, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your birthday. Oh, I read it, Reese's No Pieces. I read it, and you're getting some of my comics. I'm going to send you 50 comics. These are not a Daredevil 191, but they are a fun medley of books, some new, some old, 5 decades worth of 5 times 10, 50 comics, 5 decades, 50 books, 51 with mine, coming to you. I hope you're domestic because I had no way of knowing if you were domestic. A few people announced they weren't domestic, but I'm assuming you are because I got to mail these to you. So I'm gonna have my social media person. Can you like, comment a way to reach you. Instagram is preferable, but if you want to write your email, I don't know if you want to like put that out there. There's no way to DM on YouTube or I'd DM you. But if you could let me know on this video how to reach you, Reese's No Pieces, and have my social media person reach out, we're gonna get you those books mailed to you. I want to mail them like next week. So if you can get this sooner than later, they're coming to you. So I really appreciate that message. I really appreciate everyone that sent in. It means a lot to me. And I loved all the things you had to say. And you're shaping this page. You guys are the reason we're going to start doing more comic stuff. And that's going to hopefully start in December. Hopefully, like I said, I want to give you a date, but hopefully December, latest January, February. But yeah, please let me know how to get these books to you. And hopefully you saw this because that meant the world to me. Thank you very much. So that concludes the 50K giveaway. It's finally going to someone after reading all those messages number of times. I really appreciate everyone that contributed. And we're going to do it again at 100. So eyes peeled and subscribe. Then we'll do it again. All right, let's talk about the comics themselves, you lovelies. It was a really good week in comics. I have so many books to grab. There was a lot of stuff, and I did not actually sort. There's so many books. These are the books I'm reading this week. This is early. This is this week's books. Ooh, comes out Wednesday, these ones. So I'm going to be reading these books today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and then I'll do this again Friday or Saturday live stream with these books. This is proof I haven't read them early. But yeah, I'm going to be diving into those. But first, let's talk about the comics from I guess this week. It's Sunday. It's the weekend. I've never understood Sunday being the start of the week. It's the weekend. But let's talk about the books from this week, Wednesday, November 5th. My favorite books in alphabetical order, not by order of favorite, but in alphabetical order. My favorite books this week were Absolute Green Lantern number 8. Absolute Green Lantern making the cut for the second time since the run started. This might be most improved book. This book has really grown on me. Absolute Green Lantern number 8. This is by far my favorite issue of Absolute Green Lantern so far. It is a brand new story right here. You can jump into this issue. You totally can. This is like a flashback. It's the most human story we've had so far. It's a really beautiful love story. It's a very beautiful human story with all the flaws that humans have. It is a very great story that sets up a whole great new arc. Really big fan. Absolute Green Lantern number 8. Highly recommend. Next up, Amazing X-Men number 2. This Age of Revelation is very hit or miss for me. It is more hit, but not big hit, if that makes sense. Like the hits are good, but it rarely makes my top 9. This issue has earned its spot in my top 9. There's a lot of good stuff in this issue. I really like the team dynamics of it. I really like that it blends like supernatural and occult stuff with just standard X-Men goodness. It feels like an Elseworld. I'm digging the overall idea behind Age of Revelation. This issue in particular had really good team dynamics, really good writing, really good storytelling, and overall felt like a classic X-Men story, which is what I wanted. All right, next up is an indie book. We got one DC and one Marvel so far. Let's kick it over to one of the craziest books out of Image right now. Image absolutely killing it. And this is Denise Camp's Assorted Crisis Events. This is my favorite book of the week. This book, okay, so I have a fairly crippling fear of losing my mind. The idea of not knowing who I am or forgetting reality or losing my memory, any version of just unreality freaks me out. And this book is all about that. Every issue is about crisis events and time displacement and losing yourself to time. This issue is a really beautiful metaphor for so many things that happen late in life and losing ourselves, but it plays around with sci-fi elements of making that story work. It's a beautiful love story. It's a painful love story. It's also very, very human. This is incredible. Highly recommend Assorted Crisis Events. It is one of my favorite books on the shelves. This issue particularly broke me. I'd read issue 1 forward, but you could just read this one issue. It is issue 6, Assorted Crisis Events. It is gobsmackingly good. All right, next up is Batman number 3. This book is so flippin' good. This is the incredible Matt Fraction, who I think of as usually very comedic, but he's killing it with action and drama, as well as Jorge Jimenez. And this book is only 3 issues in. Seek it out. This issue brings in the Riddler in a really fun way. This issue is setting up a big I think zeitgeist shift between Gotham and the way the commissioner things are going. It is a very approachable book. It is bringing Batman into a whole new age. I think the DCU might base like elements of the Batman in cinema off of this take. It's really solid. Highly recommend this Batman run. It's only 3 issues in. Get after it. All right, next up, after one Batman book, we've got a Batman centric book, but tying into a big old DC event. That is going to be DC KO Nightfall #1. This is Batman versus Robins in a really interesting way. This is a new Batman. I don't want to say who it is because it was cool. There's a Batman v Batman going on in this book, and it is badass. And it deals with DCKO in a really fun way. It deals with the continuity of everything that's going on with Batman. It also is art from Dan Mora, which is gorgeous. It is just top to bottom, really solid. It's an action-packed book that's actually well written as well as really, really well directed with action. Dan Mora, anything he does is great, but this is an especially good book. So check it out. Next up, we've got a character that I really enjoy that gets a lot of hate, but I'm a fan of. Echo has a new book, you lovelies. Echo, Seeker of Truth. This book is dope because it is a very indie feeling book until the very end. There's so much going on in this book that is so human. This is such a grounded supernatural kind of book. I don't know. I just really dug the tone this book struck, and it's an issue 1, so it's very approachable. If you liked Echo and you want to get into Echo, this is a very good jumping on point, and I really dug it in general. Next up, a character that I like that the comics usually don't clear the top 9 for me, but they brought back my favorite new villain, Miles Morales, #40. New jumping on point for Miles. If you haven't read Miles in a while, or if you want to get into the character at all, this is a new arc kicking off with a villain from about 4 or 5 years ago that I really enjoyed making an appearance and starting a new arc, I believe. I like Miles, and that villain I really dig coming back into the face. So big old fan, and I think that issue is going to start a lot of really cool stuff. All right, next one is going to be another indie book, another one from, I believe, Image. No, this is Boom. Lovely folks at Boom Studios. This is Minor Arcana #11. Really cool occult book, issue